The dialogue you write can either ruin or really take your book to the next level. There is some, I gotta say it, bad dialogue advice out there.
You lose that battle.
All writers approach writing a slightly different way, and so do writing instructors. And I'm not saying that all other writing instructors are bad and I'm the only one with the answers, because I'm certainly not. There are plenty of people out there with really great advice, but every once in a while I'll come across a video and I'm like, that is not how you do it. So let's talk about some of the more common bad dialogue advice things I've seen. Number one, the dialogue is always there to share information. And you know what? Sometimes it's there to hide information. Yes, the dialogue should be moving the plot along, but that doesn't mean that the character has to tell another character everything. A lot of times they're not saying something or they're lying about something, which is even better. I love that. And the reader knows that there's something that they're hiding. I just finished reading With My Little Eye by Jocelyn Jackson, who is one of my favorite authors because she's a really great writer. And she has a character in there who lies.
You lied to me!
In the beginning. And when the truth actually came out about this character, I actually had to go back to these scenes where she'd written the person before to see if Jocelyn had laid the clues in there that I had just missed because I had believed this character at face value. And she totally had. It was really brilliantly done.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Sometimes what a character says actually means the complete opposite. And when you can write that kind of a twisty-turny dialogue, it keeps your reader guessing. The number two bad advice that I heard is that your dialogue should sound just like real life. And that's an absolutely not. Because in real life, we do small talk, which I personally can't stand. Like, how's the weather there? What'd you do this weekend? We have ums and ahs, we have pauses, a lot of which I cut out when I'm making these videos. In real life, we don't have very exciting conversations. And while it can be helpful to listen to real life conversations to kind of pick up the patterns for dialogue, you don't want to make your dialogue mirror real life. It needs to be more powerful on the page because dialogue is a tool for keeping the reader hooked, showing who the character is, and giving or withholding information on the page. One of the big pieces of advice I give is to read your dialogue aloud. And the reason you want to do that is you want to hear where the natural pauses are. And that's where you're going to want to break the dialogue up with something else, a comma or a dialogue tag and an action tag. The third piece of advice that I hear all the time is to copy the dialogue in film. Films are great to study for structure, but the dialogue is not necessarily the same as it would translate to the page because there's a lot of information that the screenwriter needs to get on the screen. It's information that probably would have been done in narrative in the book.
Family has 5 generations of senators. My brother's in the top 3 at Yale Law.
Kind of dropping in the backstory in the dialogue. Scripts are meant to be visual, so they're going to show you everything in a visual way or tell you about it in dialogue. They're not going to have the same kind of layers as a novel has, so it doesn't translate 100%. The fourth piece of bad advice I've heard a lot is to always, always, always use the word said. You don't want to use other dialogue tags that are technically impossible to do. So if you have something like, "You're a jerk," he growled. I've heard lots of dogs growl, but I've never heard them speak while they growl. Things like that make the reader pause because they're like, wait, how do you growl words? The reason why you want to use said is it's an invisible word to the reader. They see it so often that they don't even process it. They just process the character name. So if you've got a lot of dialogue going on, like Robert Parker does in the Spencer novels, then putting the dialogue tag in there helps the reader establish who is saying what. But there's more to using said than just putting she said, he said on the page. Where you put it matters a lot. You can put he said, she said at the beginning of the sentence. You can put it at the end of the quotation, and both of those work. But you have this great tool in your arsenal with that word. If you put it in the middle of a sentence, you can emphasize something and you can make what comes after really have punch. So you put the powerful words, you put the powerful quote at the end. For me, what is even better than he said or she said is an action tag. The reason why you want to do that is it does two things. It moves the plot forward because the character is acting, and it seems more natural. In real life, we act and talk often at the same time. Your character should be doing the same thing too. And if they're doing something that has an impact on the plot, that much better. And what you can do that makes it even more powerful than that is to have the action be the opposite of the words they are saying. Like, you know, when somebody is lying and they look away and they tell you something and you know it's a lie. Those are two opposite. It's a really great tool to use to have the reader realize that the character is lying and the other character maybe not know. One other tip is that you want to vary it up. You want to make the sentences structured differently because you don't want your book to have the same boom, boom, boom pattern. When you vary it up and break up the dialogue with action tags or dialogue tags, and when you have them lie instead of tell the truth, or when you have their actions not match their words, that keeps the reader on the edge of their toes. There's a lot of writing advice out there in books, in courses, on videos. You really have to look at it through two different lenses. Is this system going to work for me? Is this going to work for the way that I write, my style? You shouldn't be molding your writing style to fit somebody else's vision of it. And B, is this what keeps me glued to the page when I'm reading? Because by really analyzing what keeps you glued to the page, what keeps you reading the book, you kind of figure out the secret formula behind writing a great book. And writing a great book is all about starting with a great, powerful beginning that grabs the reader and keeps them going to the last page. So watch this video because that will tell you exactly how to write a great opening to your novel.